Are guys going to carry the puck into the offensive zone more than we have seen in the past? We saw a lot of dump and chase and a lot.
But dump and chase, it's always percentage play. You always encourage a player to make a play at the blue line,
right?
And that's your number one goal. But the players got to be smart enough to realize take what the other team is going to give you. If they give you the blue line to make a play, make that play. If you're in a position, you can, because in the NHL, digging one-on-one and beat guys at the blue line, it happens once in a while. So you want to play percentage game, and we will play percentage game.
Right. You spoke, Michel, about changing the culture when you came here. You talked about work ethic and discipline and commitment. There is a new motto in the dressing room: no excuses. There's a carpet covering the Canadiens logo on the floor when the media walk into the dressing room. I think there is a new respect that is being brought forward. You do not step on the Montreal Canadiens logo. Talk a little bit about this new culture that you're trying to bring in here, and is this system, the new culture, being embraced by the players that you have with you now?
Since day one, they embrace it really well. And I always take pride in the past, everywhere that I coach, players or teams that always been recognized that to be a team, first of all, get prepared, but having great work ethic. And I take a lot of pride in that. And we try to surround our players this year, like we had Brendan Pross, hard-working guy, character guy. Kobe Armstrong, I know the kid since a long time. I coached him almost 5 years. I know he's a great kid. He's working really hard. He's got a great attitude. Francis Bouillon, you know him more than those two. He's in the same pattern, So that those things goes along, And we got guys that I want to make sure our teams will get recognized at one of the worst hockey team in the NHL. And when you get established that, you could accomplish things, And I'd like to give, everyone's going to have a role. They're going to be different roles, but they're going to have roles in our team. And I want players to take pride in their roles and working hard in their roles, and everybody's going to feel part of it. I think team chemistry is important. And discipline is to be able to get success, you need to have discipline. And if you want to work hard, you want to be a team that's going to work hard, you need to have discipline. Discipline off the ice and discipline on the ice too, it's part of it to make sure we get success. And especially this year with the type of schedule that we're facing, discipline's going to be important.
You spoke too about the fact that a change in culture when you were with Pittsburgh is not always fun. When you're trying to tell a player, look, this is the way you've always done it, and that's fine, but we need you to maybe do something a little differently. Has it been a fun thing changing the culture here so far?
So far, it's not tough because of the attitude of the player.
Okay. All right. So they've been great with it.
They've been great in practice, attitude-wise. They're on time. The team's chemistry seems really good. I see a lot of big smile in their face when they come in, and everybody seems to get along. So that's the first step. How are we going to react in games? It's like after that, I'm going to be able to have a better judgment on that.
Right.
But right now, they're A+.
You came out of a brainstorming session in Bromont in August, ready to go. We sat here 10 days before the lockout was announced. You pretty much said you had no plan B. You were ready to go with your camp, and then wham, like everyone else, you ran into the brick wall of a lockout. How difficult was it for you to stop and refocus and change some of the things that you had in mind, some of the things you needed to do?
Well, before the lockout, we're not thinking about the lockout. So we have to prepare ourselves. Let's going to start. Now that we got the news, okay, now we have to react.
Right.
And I think we react with different, like I said before, different scenarios. And give us get some time to evaluate the way we want to do things too, because I spent some time with Hamilton. Spent some time to go see Galchenyuk play in Sarnia. checking all the Bulldog games, even if you're not there at the game, but you could see them on TV because now, as you know, with the internet, it's
Sure.
like you could see everything, So we were evaluating the young kids and evaluating the system. Okay, where should we be better? How did they respond? Because they try to play the same way that we do, and that give us a chance to reevaluate the thing that we did, and we put all those things together. This is our system. It's like this,
So it's a pretty good binder.
It's a big binder, and but that's part of teaching.
Is it almost in hindsight a little bit of a benefit, given the fact that there was a lockout, that you've been able to take a broader look at the system of this entire organization? If there hadn't been a lockout, you would have been probably more sharply focused just on the Montreal Canadiens. With a lockout, you were able to see some prospects. You were able to see the Bulldogs and so on.
But with the lockout, that gave me a chance to chance and evaluate the young player. Probably would have with a regular season. I didn't want to waste my time, so I'll try to keep ourselves busy here. Try to keep the coaching staff busy, and we want to make sure that we try to learn as much as we can, because you're coming in and this is your player, so you got to learn to work with to learn about your players, and even that you have to learn about who's coming up, who's the young kids, who's the future, so that gives us a chance to know our future.
Right. I remember that you told me shortly before the lockout that you had spoken to Brian Giunta and had said, maybe just in as many words, tried to tell him to rally the troops, keep the guys ready, so that when this thing ended, it would be ready to go. Have you and Brian had a sit down as captain and coach to talk about things since the lockout has ended, and how open has your door been, Michel? How many players have come in and sat down? How many times have you had one-on-ones with your players?
I communicate with Brian almost every day. Sometimes it could be here, sometimes I'm not. Communicate can be always like formal. Because when you say sit down here, it's always formal,
right?
But I like to communicate with players sometimes informal, having lunch with them, having a coffee in the morning with them, So there's some time where you just having a little chat, and I like that. Sometimes you get a great response from the players. Not always have to be formal, but I think communication with your captain is crucial. I let him know what the plan of this organization, and every time there's a big news, he's the first guys to know, because he's the guy that have to tell the message most of the time to the players, and he's been great. He's been great so far. He's got a lot of respect, not only from the coaching staff but from the players too.
Is your door open? Are you an open doors coach? Are players free to walk down this hallway anytime they like and wander in and see?
It's always been. I've always been recognized to have a great communication with players, and it certainly won't change.
Okay.